the nutrition space at all. We do not ignore it, mainly because of the work that we have done in the West.
Under his leadership as the chairman of the National Nutrition Council, the council has provided the purposeful direction in the nutrition landscape in the country, as well as increased the visibility of the council in national development.
We're happy that we have found willing partners in our government today. So again, just to thank you very much for the hard work that you've been doing.
Recognition of nutrition by the critical stakeholders at all levels, from the federal to the state, didn't happen until that council came on board under his leadership. You can hear quarterly meetings, just like the way he is leading the National Economic Council, so is also the Nutrition Council of Nigeria.
The Vice President dedicated the award to all stakeholders in the nutrition and food systems space. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Following the approval of emergency relief to victims of 2022 flood and other category of disaster by President Muhammadu Buhari, NEMA has reached out to beneficiaries in Borno State. The federal government's intervention through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management is the palliative meant to alleviate the sufferings of victims in the state that has gone through anguish from various forms of calamities. Abubakar Musa reports.
It is no longer news that most parts of Nigeria, including Borno, have been badly affected by flood occasioned by the heavy rainfall experienced this year. This unfortunate incident that has remained a burning issue owing to the untold hardship caused on residents is what necessitated the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development through the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to prevent food and non-food items worth millions of naira expected to cut across every victim of flood in Borno State as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari.
We came here with a mission and we are able to achieve what we came for. And this is a good gesture from Mr. President, the Minister of Humanitarian, and of course the Director General of Emergency.
Receiving the relief materials on behalf of the Borno State Government, Director General, State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Tulo, acknowledged federal government's sustained support to victims of crisis over the years, and describing this particular one as overwhelming due to the devastation done to Nigerians as a result of flood in 2022.
The Borno State government is highly appreciative of the gesture that is coming from the federal government through NEMA and through the silos.
The two federal and state humanitarian agencies also shared views on how best to continue providing interventions to victims of natural and human-induced disasters for sustainable progress. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Mexico has agreed to work with Nigeria in the area of agricultural produce inspection with a view to addressing the issues of rejection. This is coming as the two countries fine-tune arrangements to sign an agreement on the exportation of hibiscus from Nigeria. Musa Babali filed in this report from Mexico City.
This is the Nacional de Referencia Fitosanitaria in Mexico. The center operates just like the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. It investigates and ascertains the quality of agricultural produce either going out or coming into the country. The delegation from Nigeria visited the center and they were acquainted with the procedures of inspecting farm produce. The idea is to ensure that pests and diseases are not transferred from one location to another. For instance, this room has the collection of pests detected in the country and how it was managed. Apart from the use of laboratories for disease detection, dogs are also trained on how to inspect fruits and other produce coming into the country through air and sea ports. This depicts how serious agricultural quarantine is to Mexico.
Putting all that together, I think generally you can actually say South Africa is doing a job that is quite impressive, and it's something that I think if we can replicate back at home, it will help a long way to help us control the influx of pests and disease, which is the major objective of the quarantine service. Es de parte de Nigeria, de los funcionarios de Nigeria, en el sentido de conocer las actividades que estamos haciendo como país.
And now this institution is willing to support Nigeria in the area of capacity building on how to dictate, treat, and also reject agricultural produce before exporting them into any country. From Mexico City, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Panorama continues in a moment. Don't go away.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, Sokoto, is to acquaint the stakeholders on electoral processes that with new innovations for the successful conduct of 2023 general election in the country. This is coming at a one-day stakeholders meeting organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Sokoto, held at the conference hall of the commission. Sheikh Muhammad Detti has more.
The engagement is meant to acquaint stakeholders on the level of preparedness by the Commission and interact on ways to improve its performance come 2023 general elections in the state. The Commission's Administrative Secretary, Sokoto State, Hawa Aliyu Kangiwa, said the Commission will continue to improve towards the 2023 general elections in the country. She said the Commission has received 3,991 bimodal voter accreditation system for the elections in the state. The Commission is also up and doing in the areas of voter education and training for its personnel on the use of new device.
We intimated them on the use of B-bus during election, the importance of PVC collections, that you cannot vote without PVC.
There were paper presentations on the overview of the bimodal voter accreditation system to be used for the authentication and accreditation of voters for the elections by Head of Operations INEC Sokoto, Abdurrahman Usman. Issues of vote buying, insecurity, the regulatory language, as well as possible ways through religious clerics were suggested to create awareness by model voter accreditation system for the success of the elections in the state, by extension the country. Participants expressed readiness to cooperate towards successful elections.
We are strongly believe it's ready for this assignment, and INEC is doing its best to educate the parties so that we educate our voters for the process of the conduct of the 2023 election.
The Commission pledged continuous interactions to succeed. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
And now to our discussion segments. With me in the studio is Abubakar Usman, Head of Department ICT, INEC Sokoto State Office, to discuss on INEC innovations to ease voting. Sir, you're welcome.
Oh.
So, sir, there had been some challenges during elections in Nigeria, which are related to the card readers. And what is being done now to tackle those issues?
In 2015-2019, we used what we call SCR smart card readers. And we come to find out there are some issues. Maybe someone will come with someone voter's card and the system allowed him to pass through. So we come to understand that this is a challenge. We want to make it to be one man, one vote. So now they introduce another system.
So this new innovation, the bimodal voter accreditation system, how does it work?
Before that, when we use smart card reader, it only authenticates the person that come with the PVC by using only fingerprint. But now we introduce either you use the fingerprint or you use your piece, and nobody will have without piece. So we are now going to use either piece or fingerprint.
Okay, so what is the advantage?
The advantage is previously we are using only one system.
Okay.
And then some other things that are happening in the system allow someone who come with another PVC, we use incident form. If the PVC if the card reader doesn't authenticate him, so we allow him to cast his vote. But now, as long as you do not accredit it, that either by piece or by fingerprint, you will not be allowed to cast your vote.
Okay. Some persons with disabilities have also had issues during election. What is on ground for them now?
Based on this one, you see they recognize no one that must have peace. Almost everybody must have peace. Yeah. Previously, people with disability, they don't have fingerprint. So maybe in this that they were looking like we disenfranchised them for election because they don't have fingerprint. But now they have peace. We can use their peace to recognize them, allow them to cast their vote.
Okay. So what is being done now to enlighten electorates on this new innovation?
Just like we are doing now, we are trying to enlighten a lot of people. We are going by air, using radio, NTA to enlighten the people that this is what we introduce and they should be feel free to go on the election day. It is only one man, one vote.
So do you think this new innovation will make the process faster or?
The fastness is being increased now. It was only within 5 seconds you'll be allowed to, you accredit you and then you're allowed to cast your vote and leave. Just like previously that maybe it will take at least 10 to 15 minutes before you've been accredited. But now it is fast. Okay. It's some seconds.
So can we vote immediately after accreditation or do we have to also go and come back?
It's simultaneously. As long as you have been accredited, you are allowed to cast your vote and leave the place.
Okay. So what advice do you have for our viewers on this new innovation now?
The major advice is to know how does it work, and you should know where to get the information, maybe like NTA or Rima Radio or other ones, that you know what you are expected to do in the election day.
Okay. So thank you for coming on Panorama this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right. And now to our news. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has attributed the increase in building collapse across the country to disregard for professional ethics. He was speaking when he received on-courtesy call members of the Council Registered Builders of Nigeria at his palace. Sheikh Muhammad Dati has more.
The Sultan was bitter about the way collapse of buildings in Nigeria is increasing, even at the point of construction. This, the monarch said, should be properly addressed by the concerned bodies to avoid the increase in loss of lives and property. He admonished members to de-emphasize the monetary aspect of the profession and concentrate on professionalism. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar called for more awareness with a view to ending building collapse in the country.
Development, I think the next couple of years will have so many people, labor force to take over the construction industry in this country.
National Chairman of Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Samson Ame Opalwa, said they are Sokoto as part of their nationwide tour of monitoring and evaluation to all states in Nigeria. Worried by the incidents of collapsed buildings in Nigeria, the council has come up with a training program where managers of building are trained on the required technical know-how in the building industry. He informed the Sultan that currently there are 27 universities and 56 polytechnics that are producing builders and building technologies in Nigeria.
When these people are unleashed onto the various sites, they will do the correct thing, and we don't expect buildings to collapse. Correct personnel, experts, and experienced people are handling what they should be handling.
The chairman later presented a souvenir to the Sultan.
For the mass exodus of medical personnel outside Nigeria. This was the position of stakeholders at a symposium organized by the Kebbi State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association to commemorate Physicians' Week. Ibrahim Hamidu has more.
You stakeholders in the nation's health sector are never tired of discussing is the brain drain, an issue that has continued to drain the country of her best in the sector. Addressing such a serious issue was the reason behind this gathering in Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital. The forum is for medical doctors and other health personnel to cross-fertilize ideas and come up with strategies that can make the system better. Chairman, Kebbi State Chapter of the Association, Dr. Murtala Muhammad Dandari, said series of activities were rolled out aimed at updating the knowledge of their members, all aimed at making the health sector in the state function efficiently. He harped on the welfare of medical doctors that he noted is below average compared to other climes, a development that he noted is partly responsible for the brain drain syndrome amongst medical personnel.
At the end of this program, we want to show Nigerians that doctors are we are not only taking care of other people, we are also taking care of ourselves.
Chairman of the occasion, Dr. Sani Muhammad Kawuji, commended the union for maintaining the annual commemoration of the week, describing the topics of discourse as timely, adding that it will undoubtedly make the policymakers to come to the round table to improve public health system. Speakers affirmed that Nigeria needs consistent policies for mitigating the impacts of brain drain on the dwindling human resource to reform the face of emerging public health threats in the country. This year's event is themed Nigeria's Healthcare Delivery System and the 2023 Democratic Transition, a time to change the narratives. In Birnin Kebbi, Ibrahim Ahmedu, NTA News.
And for sports, we now join our sports desk for sport update.
After suffering defeat in the opening group match, Nigeria's champion Bayelsa Queens secured their first win in the ongoing 2022 Women's CAF Champions League in Morocco. The Nigerian side beat TP Mazembe 2-0 in their second group game to move second on the table, same points with TP Mazembe in third with a superior goal difference.
We are expecting victory. Anything short of victory, we will not qualify. We are going to do our best to make sure we get to 2 points that will qualify us for the semi-finals.
Bayelsa Queens will need to secure another maximum points against Wadi Delga in the final group game on Sunday to be sure of a place in the semi-final. Premier League leaders Arsenal continued their impressive run to the start of the season Thursday night in the UEFA Europa League, beating visitors FC Zurich by 1-0. The Gunners top Group A with 15 points from 6 matches going into the next round. In other results, Manchester United went 1-0 better away to Real Sociedad as Feyenoord beat Lazio 1-0 at home. To World Cup stories, FIFA has written to all 32 teams competing at the World Cup to tell them the time has come to focus on the football. The tournament, which starts on the 20th of November, has been surrounded by controversy. Qatar has been criticized for its stance on its human rights record and its treatment of migrant workers. But the World Cup organizers have said everyone is welcome to visit the country to watch the games and that no one will be discriminated against. In tennis, world number 1 Iga Swiatek has claimed a semi-final spot at the WTA finals with a straight-set win over France's Caroline Garcia. Poland's Swiatek won 6-3, 6-2 in Texas. The 21-year-old's victory means she is the second player after Greek world number 5 Maria Sakkari to guarantee her progress from the round-robin stage of the season-ending event in Fort Worth. With sports updates, Olalekan Kilajolu, NTA News.
And that is it on Panorama. Don't forget to join the fight against rape and rapists. Be a star. Good afternoon.
I'm actually a passionate baker. I don't rest until everything is done.
When I entered university, anytime I'm broke, I'll make cupcakes and go and sell to the other students.
Decorating cake it's an artistic thing, and art is, dynamic.
Join us on Baker's World every Thursday on the network service of the NTA. Baker's World, celebrating creativity. Don't miss it.
Voting is the most precious right of every citizen, and we have a moral obligation to ensure the integrity of the voting process.
The voter is at the center of everything involving election and electoral process. The voter is the final person that decides who wins. The role of commission is to organize election, but elections generally depends on the decision of the voter on election day to cast his ballot to the person or party of his choice.
It is a law in the democratic system of government in Nigeria to elect representatives after every 4 years. So there is a need for voters to exercise some rights.
You can only vote on presentation of your permanent voter card at the designated registration area or the registration unit where you're registered. Citizens should understand that the value of permanent voter card is to enable them vote on election day. There are officials allowed to be in the polling unit, and all of them are accredited by commission. Party agents are quite accredited officials to be part of the voting process, but they don't have the right to interfere with the process. They can only be there to represent interests of their parties and observe how the elections are taking place.
Do you know that many still ask themselves, why should I vote? They think that their vote does not make a difference. What you should know is that voting is a civic duty, and if you desire change, you should vote and make it happen. It's your right. It's your vote.
If your pressman is accredited to cover elections, he will have the permission of commission to visit polls and move around on election day. If a party agent is accredited by commission to cover election, he will be allowed on election day to be part of the voting process from beginning up to the time it closes. Likewise, the international and domestic observer groups. But if you are not accredited, no. You are actually on your own and it's not allowed by law. The commission, INEC, and every stakeholder in the electoral process have been loud and clear condemning all actions pertaining to vote buying or any effort by any candidate or party to buy votes. So let there be free franchise of persons to select or elect freely the persons they wish to vote. My advice to Nigerians is on election day, the commitment by INEC, vote will count. Please be part of the process and ensure you abide by all provisions of the law and give INEC officials the cooperation and support they require to conduct credible, free, fair, and acceptable polls.
These are some of the rights of a voter. Receive up to 2 replacement ballots if he or she makes a mistake prior to the ballot being cast. A voter has a right to ask for and receive assistance while voting. A voter has a right to vote on a voting system that is in perfect working condition. A voter has a right to vote free from coercion or intimidation by election officers or any other person. Do you know your responsibilities as a voter? Now is the time to familiarize yourself with them. Familiarize yourself with the candidates and the issues. Maintain a current address with the office of the supervisor of the elections. Know the location of the polling units and the hours of operation. Bring proper and accurate identification to the polling station. Familiarize yourself with the operation of the voting equipment in your area. Report any problems or violations of election laws to the supervisor of the elections. Ask questions where and if needed. Make sure that his or her completed ballot is correct before leaving the polling station.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Preview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
This is the network service of the NTA.
It's a mission we insist on accomplishing. Many have warned that it's like following the footsteps of Hercules. We even had the privilege of the footages of the bridges washed away leading to Safari, a local government in Yobe State, where nature is reacting to global warming.
About 80 kilometers into our journey to Yusufari and only about 20 kilometers to the popular Dapchi town, we met one of our major hiccups here. The major bridge here has been washed away by torrential rains. Young boys from villages around have improvised ways of taking people across the other side for waiting vehicles for people to continue their journeys. It has become just like a market, a car park, and also an opportunity for these boys to take home some change.
I came from Medugri heading to Gaidam. We are told that the bridge here has collapsed, but we were managing our way on Thursday. After crossing for my first trip, I slept in Babangida. On arrival at Dapchi, the road has failed. So I made a U-turn to Damaturu, Potiskum, Gashua to Girigiri. There again, water has taken over the place. My car broke down. My timing belt caught, so I went to buy another one. The place I went, Garimbiri, was also below water.
They said if you find yourself in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans. Here we have found ourselves in a section of the road towards Yusufari, and this is the only way for us to cross over. So we are doing exactly what the people here are doing, finding a way out of this situation.
Our belongings taken across, leaving us in disused bathtubs.
And here is our next mode of transportation. It is going to take us about 15 kilometers, where we're going to get another vehicle that will take us to the next point, which we are told that it is the same situation here that we're going to find there, because the same bridge that will lead us to where we're going to has also been washed away by torrential rains.
Couple of minutes, we were at the next hurdle.
Another major stumbling stone on our way here. They call this place Jumbam. It's about 90 kilometers to Gashua. Gashua on our way to Yusufari. Our next mode of transport is going to be a local canoe like this one. We're going to step in and it will take us all across the water here. Then towards that way where vehicles are waiting, a temporary motor park that will take us to Gashua.
Pedaling across roaring waters. Above, it is life at its fullest. On the grounds, fishermen warming up for a bumper harvest. A case of one man's food, another man's poison. With about 200 kilometers left, we took a bus and behold the popular Dapchi town and its girls' school. Sad memories still lingering in the minds of victims. Gashua, a bustling town, opened its arms. The journey on tarred road ended at Yusufari. Behind us, the palace of the emir. With a special vehicle, we hit the sands of the Sahara. It was a journey of 40 kilometers to our destination, where it took about 2.5 hours. Tulo, a beautiful village with the Sahara forming a noose around its neck.
Descending from one of the heap of sand dunes here in Tulo, I concluded that the case of this sand dune is a double-edged one for the people of Tulo. One, is a calamity in the form of desert encroachment. And secondly, it is a blessing if properly harnessed. A border village with its inhabitants having vivid imagination of how they lost their farm and grazing lands.
To my understanding, it is like 32 years ago to 40 years, where the sands begin to consume the city, south of the village. There is no place I have not weed grass. Smaller vehicles normally follow south of the village to other places, but suddenly they begin to witness increase in the sand dune, eating up plenty houses. People keep moving while the sand moves too. Now we are all stuck in the middle. In fact, when President Obasanjo came, it was better. He came and said that the government will build a third road, but nothing has happened. Even at the gate between Nigeria and Niger, the Sahara wasn't as much. We used to play there and graze animals. All those places encroached by desert used to be our grazing land. But today, it is all gone, and every day it is increasingly threatening to consume the village. Now everywhere is sand, no grass, and every day it is increasing. We hope the authorities will listen to our cries. We are scared that one day the sand will eat up the village.
If you see my house now, you will be surprised. Between my house and the sand of the Sahara is just a matter of meters. But recently, there are efforts to plant trees and some houses were built. Nobody entered because of the threat of the Sahara. Even now, if you go, you'd see how we are planting some shrubs, hoping if it comes and germinates, then we will have some respite.
There were some researchers who came and conducted research on the Sahara before they left. That was during Abuja era. They came and carried out research. We saw their efforts, but unfortunately, they could not conclude the work until their tenure ended, and they left the village of Tulo. Thereafter, some NGOs came and worked on the Sahara, but no progress, and we are poor people. We cannot do the work ourselves. We won't say that the government is not helping, but we are retrogressing beyond imagination. Because of that, our lives depend on farming. We don't trade, we don't engage in other civil jobs. But sometimes NGOs come to help us to survive. Our grazing lands are all gone. Sahara has taken over in all the local governments. In Nigeria, none is suffering, like the Yusufura local government area.
On the flip side, the sand dunes presents beautiful scenes with an appealing contours of the sand. No doubt, these equals the sand dunes many go to spend holidays in Dubai.
The vast land of just pure desert. I have never seen that big a desert, like purely open. You could see, if you could see 20 kilometers ahead, you could see all of it is just the sand because it's really, really hot. I've been there in December as well as September, still very hot. My experience for me, one of the things I would take is the purpose-built vehicles you have for those particular, when I'm talking about those particular activity, is the SUV vehicles driving a cliff. And we literally landed face first. And the vehicle went back and we continued driving. So the drivers have been very experienced. At the desert, there are not mud houses, but wooden houses where when the sun comes down, we have dinner. If you want to stay over, bonfires. It's really beautiful. it's intentionally done to help encourage people to come. And if we do have that in Nigeria, it's easy. I mean, the government doesn't have to spend its own money. Get people who are interested in investment, both local and international, give them the space. I think give them some policies that take away some things, and we'll have a good country here.
What is unique about the sand dunes in Tulo is its oasis.
Tired of climbing mountains and mountains of sand dunes, you finally relax under the shades of palm trees that have been sustained for centuries by the density of an oasis. Apart from its oasis, it is blessed with more than 50 lakes with hidden treasures. Few meters away from the breathtaking oasis, a lake, and when this lake recedes, a natural resource is being mined here, potassium.
Tulo gaba daya daga nan abin da ya kai kilomita kaman 20 zuwa 30 duka hamada ne.
Tulo from 20 to 30 kilometers is all Sahara. There are places that I know blessed with fruits and potassium. Because of the mining of potassium, the place sinks and water takes over, and the potassium will be no more. Like this place we are standing by, you see there is no mud in the water anywhere. The mud dries, the potassium also dries up. It's all Sahara. We can't do irrigation. Our major call is for the government to provide us with tarred road, stop the encroachment of Sahara for people to go back to farm. Because wherever there is Sahara, even grass won't survive, talk less of other plants. We need a primary health care center in case of emergency. Even the traders are suffering. Transportation is expensive, making price of goods to rise.
One lake stands out among the lakes. This is because it attracts exotic birds. Only indigens have good description.
This is a place with huge history. Even white men sometimes come here from time to time with special vehicles. They will stay here for weeks, even months. And there are exotic birds that migrate seasonally to this place from other countries. It's like the white men usually follow to monitor them. This place that you are seeing, there are fishes, birds, crocodiles, many astonishing animals. And that is why we are calling on government to come and upgrade this place to become attractive, because this place is the only place in Yobe State that is unique and peaceful. We have never experienced any kind of crisis among us.
Potato salad and so on. But as time goes on, the water took over the valley. From there, exotic animals begin to inhabit the water, and for now, the place can only be regarded as a tourist site. And for us, it's a place of history. We are calling on the relevant authorities to make it so. There are times when some white men usually come here, we show them the beautiful places and we put forward our challenges.
The Emir of Yusufari admits to the fact that Tulo is a stone throw away from becoming the bride of Nigeria's tourism sector.
Our first challenge is natural. Natural, if I say natural, I mean desert, the desertification. Desert is fast approaching here. In those, I would say in the early 60s, we are one of the great producers of groundnut here. And due to this desert encouragement, our groundnut has disappeared. So this is one of the dangers. So as our common crops like millet, guinea corn, they are all are sort of decreasing in yielding due to the nature of our soil. You know, you have seen it. We have most of our soil here is just sandy, very poor sand, and the rainfall is decreasing every year. Though this year there's a great improvement in rainfall. So you have seen our crops when you visited Tulo. So we are hoping to get more rain and good harvest. So our main problem here is that natural disaster of this desertification, then followed by maybe we don't have good roads from here up to Tulo. From here up to the border, either Tulo or Bulatura, there's no road. We don't have this modern third road. So we need a third road linking us with Niger here so that our local economy or trading would boost. Tulo is very, progressing border town, I would say. We have recently, created a district headquarters there. Tulo now is a district headquarters. So we have seen it. It is improving. It is progressing right on the border with Nigeria. So there's every hope this place will be a wonderful place. And you have seen that we have sand dunes for tourists if they like. People may go there and see these are natural sand dunes. We have oases. In this oasis, we are producing local potash. This potash is also very useful, either in making some medicine or animal feedings. In the oasis, we also do some irrigations. The water level there is very near. So our people used to make some irrigation. We do plant cassava, maize, sweet potato, this cucumber, and the rest. And in the oasis also we have a sort of palm tree which produces its fruits, very sweet. We call it goruba. Yes. This goruba, they have discovered, is very, very useful for human and veterinary clinics. We have animal rearers also. We need a standard veterinary clinic in the area.
How I wish these motorcycle trucks will be those of monster machines and other fun-seeking amenities for tourists, a resting place across the whole village, and maybe hotels. I'm wondering what this will bring to the village of Tulo.
When the sun starts to dim, we had to say goodbye to the land suffering the curse of Sahara encroachment. Yet, a blessing in disguise. But for us, we have printed out steps. Steps on the sands. Sands that could wipe the steps in tens of minutes. But above all, excitement of people and the memory of our visit will linger for long.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Growing up as a child, there is an admiration to want to be like dad, mom, or even a famous actor. But as one ages, more choices begin to emerge due to various social factors and developments. As much as it is admirable to want to be like someone, it is important to understand one's personal dream and purpose in life. Today, famous people all around the world have a huge following of fans who love their lives and desire to emulate them. But there's more to modeling after than just copy and paste. Oshodi, a local government in Lagos, has a reputation for children born in this neighborhood, if not closely monitored, many believe could engage in petty theft and grow to be notorious hoodlums. Today, the narrative is being rewritten for these children living in the underbridge area of Oshodi. The project, Chess in Slums Africa, founded by Tunde Onokoya, a professional chess master and coach, is meant to rehabilitate these children who are either orphans or ran away from the villages. The children are engaged in a 2-week session that seeks to unlock their potential through the game of chess while learning to read, write, and acquire basic literacy skills. It takes them through the game of being knights, queens, and kings with promises of more rewards. Aside from prizes won, collaborations are being made with rehabilitation homes and orphanages, and fundraising to provide financial and educational support for these young people. In Ikorodu, also in Lagos, a group of siblings, Babatunde Sani, Muiz Sani, Malik Sani, and their cousin Fawaz Aino, are popularly known as Ikorodu Boys, are young social media sensations.
Who was that guy? That brother was the best damn soldier that ever lived.
I just love acting.
This online comedy group recreates and mimics with childlike playfulness multi-million-dollar music videos, Hollywood movie trailers, and other visual contents using recycled local materials in the neighborhood.
You're hoping if you spin the chamber enough times, you're gonna catch a bullet.
Notable among their works is a reenacted trailer of the Hollywood film Extraction in 2020, which earned them a recognition and award by online streaming platform Netflix. In 2021, they were nominated in the Favorite African Social Media Star at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Their elder brother doubles as the video editor and manager. Also in Ikorodu, the Dream Catchers Academy, founded by Sheyi Oluyole, is created to transform the lives of less privileged girls who have experienced abuse, neglect, or economic hardship resulting in lack of educational attainment by giving them a chance through quality education and arts. A popular quality about them is their unique dance skill. Aside from the Ikorodu Boys and the Dream Catchers, who have become global sensations, Fumi Omishope is another individual adding value to street children in Kwara State.
These children are human. Sometimes we look at them as if they don't have the same blood that flows through our veins. You know, they are being abused on the road and even by the parent that take them out to bed. And my heart drawn to these children. Imagine a melancholy child begging on the street. A melancholy that something little can set them off. You know, now begging on the street, hearing all manner of rejection and all of that. So that is what drawn me to them.
With her Home and Street Kids Welfare Initiative, Fumi is shaping the lives of these children using education as a means of empowerment.
We used to have an orientation school where they come for 3 months before we enroll them in regular school. But we realized there's only 25% of them that ended up staying in those regular schools because street children are known for freedom. So when they go to regular school and they are being discriminated upon, they are being told down upon, maybe they go late to school. Some of them, their parents are blind. Both parents are blind. And they will want to take the parents to the junction before they go to school. Now they get to school 8 o'clock and teachers start beating them. They won't come tomorrow. Some of them are so passionate about education that they wake up, wear their clothes, and they're running to school without taking their baths. Now, teacher will not understand the passion, the fact that they show up and appreciate them for that. But they see the fact that they smell, and that is what made me to say, okay, now we need to have our own story.
The Nigerian child can be positively modeled. Education, right morals, and values are debts every parent and adult owe to every child. Be a positive model and watch the child grow to be a right-thinking adult.
The rate of development in any society can effectively be linked to the level of available power supply for industrialization and household use. In Africa, electricity supply is still a luxury for many, especially in rural communities. That is why ECOWAS is now partnering international agencies to expand access to energy for the growth of the sub-region. Now, this week, our focus is on the ECOWAS Renewable Energy Policy, and I am Charles Alpha, welcoming you to this week's edition of Africa Weekly. The ECOWAS Sustainable Energy Program 2022 has held in Abuja with focus on building the structure for moving the sub-region from resilience to seamless energy transition. That renewable energy policy documents of the Commission was up for assessment at the forum.
ECOWAS Renewable Energy Policy is an integral component of the ECOWAS Agenda 2030 on energy transition, which seeks to partly fulfill the regional commitment to climate change policy and also expand the energy mix to increase more access to clean and affordable energy for the region's vast rural population. The forum, being attended by experts from ECOWAS member states, will evaluate all the available options, with particular focus on how to increase investment in renewable energy and link private sector players in the sub-region with international funds operators to boost the sector. For Nigeria, the ECOWAS Renewable Energy Policy, expected to come on stream early next year, is coming at a time the country is fast-tracking its energy transition plan to tackle energy poverty.
While Nigeria led the charge in becoming the first African country to develop such a detailed energy transition plan, we know the captured ambitions are not unique to us. Though our contribution as a continent to global emission is insignificant, it is clear that we remain committed to limiting emissions even as we develop, for example, by increasing the share of renewable energy in our energy supply mix.
To date, only half of ECOWAS citizens have access to modern energy service. Hence, they are constantly deprived of the full benefit of electricity for socio-economic development.
The two-day forum will also examine the implementation status of the National Energy Efficiency Action Plans in the building and industry sectors in ECOWAS member states.
Joining me now in the studio is a former president of the Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria, Dr. Segun Adeju. Doctor, we're pleased to have you on Africa Weekly.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you. Now, to begin with, can you give us your perspective on the challenges of energy supply in Africa and in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. So Africa, experiences huge energy deficits. If you compare Africa to other continents, and we look at some numbers, for example, the average energy that an African has per kilowatt hour is below 500. Okay, compared to some countries that can have as high as 13,000 kilowatt hour in developed, economies. So there's huge energy deficits in Africa, despite the resources that we have to generate power to power ourselves. If you bring this down also into Nigeria, Nigeria is even worse in terms of numbers. So an average Nigerian has about 175 kilowatt hour, of energy used per day. Meanwhile, in South Africa is about 3,700. I think Egypt and the North African countries are doing averagely about 1,000 kilowatt hour. So when you also look at Nigeria, we're even worse off compared to other African countries. So it's a big challenge really, because without energy, there is no development, and no wonder Nigeria is seen as probably the poverty capital of the world, where you have the highest number of poor people, which is just not unacceptable. If you bring this close to the resources that are available to generate power in Africa and Nigeria, then you know that we have a lot of work to do and we have a lot of resources to achieve it.
Okay, so you talk about one of the biggest challenge, and I also want to say that in the era of climate change, emphasis is now shifting towards renewable energy. What is the potential to this sector in terms of economics and meeting the energy needs of the people?
Yes, after the signing of the Paris Agreement by many countries now, Nigeria is also signatory. The issue of climate change is being taken very seriously, and we can see some of the impact of climate change around us. Recently, Nigeria experienced some very massive flooding. I understand in over 30 states of the 36 states that we have. We're seeing changes in temperature. We're seeing weather condition, unpredictable any longer. Yeah, climate change. And of course, this is also due in part to the way we generate and consume energy. So you see several people using generators, diesel generators, to pollute the environment and the rest. So it is of critical importance at this point that we begin to look at cleaner ways of generating power. And of course, renewable energy technologies and resources comes to play.
We now join our outside broadcast crew for a live telecast